And I had life figured out, right? And I remember one day I said, you know what, God, man, I got this life thing figured out. I promise you, I said this. I've got this life thing figured out. And there are a lot of people out there that I know really need you. Like they can't function without you. I'm really doing pretty well. I'll call you if I need you.
Oh,
So I'm
wow.
going to say that, oh, yeah, I'm not proud of this. Okay. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, it caught up with me. Um, but, but there was this, yeah, I've kind of got this figured out. Life is kind of like a vending machine. If I put in hard work and effort and a good attitude and grit and all of this, that good things will come out of it. And and I learned as time went on, you get married and you have children and you realize the need for other people. But I'm going to tell you, when my husband died, uh, I realized then how badly I needed other people. And in ways I didn't realize. I mean, I think that's the thing. We don't always realize the ways that we need people. And on a surface level, my former team, I said it was the second day on a new job. My former team showed up the day after my husband died with paper products. I didn't know how badly I was going to appreciate those paper products, because when you have an unexpected death in the family, you have people and they are just coming and going. And you don't think to buy toilet paper. I mean, so something that basic, but
Yeah.
then just the ongoing, and the people that would bring food, or they would send a gift card, or they would take me to dinner, or they became my new world. That's the thing. I couldn't build a new world alone. I had to have them. And so, yes, you and God together are great, but you and God and the other children in the family together, that is powerful.
Yes, someone needs to hear that for sure. For sure. We do need each other, and think of it like we are God's hands and feet here on the earth. He accomplishes a lot through people, and to think that we don't need anyone is like, okay, you're potentially blocking your own blessing because you don't want help from others. So, yeah, I think that's very important. You had mentioned that church attendance is really down. What can the body of Christ do to foster greater community and not just build it, but create like a longevity and maintain, the community through the ups and downs and all these things that are going on? What can the body of Christ do to create like maybe like a sense of loyalty within the community and the longevity that it needs to last?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think realizing, meeting people where they are, and maybe we need to do a better job at identifying where people are when they walk in the doors of the church. Are you in a season where you're really looking to serve? Are you in a season where you need your cups filled? And uh and getting them plugged in. I think maybe being more intentional. We did a thing a few years ago at my church. I did an 8-week class, and we kind of did a deal where we went around with post-it notes, and where are you a cup and where are you a pitcher, and where can we kind of match people up. And I almost think we need to be more intentional at plugging people in once they walk in the door,
Mhm.
not just kind of trusting that they're going to figure it out on their own, but really trying to identify, well, what is it that you need and where would you like to fit in? And then expanding our reach beyond the church walls. I think, it's being involved in community events. I know my church, we have a mayor's bash, back to school bash every year, and my church is there, and they usually have a candy cannon, and they're shooting out candy and giving stuff out. And meeting people face to face. I mean, hey, virtual has opened up so many doors, and I certainly think that there is something to virtual, but I don't think we need to discount getting out and being being present and being in our communities. I will tell you, one of our associate pastors at our church is our town mayor.
Oh,
And
wow.
getting involved in your communities to that extent,
Yeah.
because he really sees where the needs are. And he is, if every town had a mayor like Justin Kaufman, let me just tell you, the world would be a better place. Um, because I know we think about the global needs and the universal needs, but man, there are needs within our own community to be involved in. And so I just think, yes, it's great to send missions to other countries, but what can we do within our own community to get our names out there so that people will want to come to our church?
Yes, that's good. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think every church needs to hear that and is asking the same questions because they've all, after COVID, it's all like been extremely difficult, and then the inconsistencies, like people show up and then they're gone for months, and you
Mm.
just never know what happened to them, stuff like that. So they need to hear that for sure. Um, I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you believe a person can achieve their God-given purpose without community?
No, because your God given purpose involves community.
Wow, yeah, I knew
I mean, if your God given
that.
purpose only benefits you, now maybe you're a hermit and you live on the top of a mountain and your purpose is to care for, I don't know, 6 squirrels. But where are you going to learn to care for the 6 squirrels? I just cannot imagine a purpose that doesn't involve other people.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure. So, being in community, of course, we talked about it, it brings growth, it brings the opportunity for accountability. If someone is ready to kind of, maybe they're at a season of their life where they've been isolated, if they're ready to leave like their isolated state and find community that's right for them, what do you recommend they do first?
Oh, that's a great question. I think you need to examine options. Make a list of places you could go, groups you could join, people you could reach out to, and then figure out what is a safe and comfortable entry point for you.
Mhm.
Maybe it's one on one. Maybe it's reaching out to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Maybe you used to do things together before COVID and now you don't. Maybe you have a passion on your heart for helping or serving certain people. Maybe you love dogs. And so, maybe a safe entry point for you is volunteering at an animal shelter with other people who love dogs. Like, what is safe and comfortable for you? I'm a pretty big extrovert. So, for me to go to a Christian singles meetup with 50 other people I had never met before by myself, that was something I felt comfortable doing. Again,
Mhm.
I was trying to control external factors and making sure it was in a safe neighborhood and a location and it wasn't too far away from home and that kind of thing. But just pick something that is safe and comfortable for you. If it's a church, there are so many churches out there with websites that tell you exactly when their services are, what do their small groups look like, when do their small groups meet. And one thing I'll say for people that want to reach out to a church, call them ahead of time. Introduce yourself before you walk in the door. Give them an opportunity to really put their best foot forward. Maybe say, hey, I want to come back to church. It's been a while. I'm this many years old. I'm widowed. I'm single. I'm married, whatever. So that they can maybe identify some people there to greet you when you walk in the door. Um,
Mhm.
I was part of a church plant and it folded a year before my husband died. And we were a fairly large group of people looking to find a new church home, and one of them called Harvest Hill and said, hey, look, we're walking in with a pretty large group of people Sunday. We're not looking to invade. We're hurting. We're broken. We want a church family. And they had like a welcome crew there to meet us. And so yeah, I just think making a list of options. Anytime we have choice, we feel like we have some control and agency in our lives. So
Mhm.
if you come up with 5 options and you pick the one that feels the most natural and the safest for you, guess what? You chose, you made a choice, you exercised control over your own destiny.